Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good week in the market. It is June 18th. It's Thursday. Short week. Tomorrow is closed. Market's closed on Friday. And I forgot that until today. Webull gave me a nice little reminder. So yesterday we had FOMC, new Fed chair, and market's not too sure on what to think about him so far. We've got 5-day and 20-day right here. We're just building liquidity all day on it. No continuation for this week. And somewhat to be expected, I guess. With the range we're in, here's the 30-minute chart. This is DG's on Eric's Discord. You can find him, his Discord link in the description below. Yeah, we had kind of that sell-off towards the end of the day because they were going to do a rate hike. I don't know what was expected, but gap up today to moving averages to end out this short week. So I didn't trade. I didn't get on until, I don't know, somewhere in here, I think. Yeah, I was like here. So thankfully I missed all this morning chop. I was actually on in the morning and didn't see anything up until like 10. And then I missed, yeah, until like 12 or so. So it's always nice coming back to the computer and seeing that you didn't just waste 2 hours of not trading or potentially losing money in those hours trading. So my first trade, I was kind of taking it easy. Like once I saw it was a building liquidity on the moving averages, I just set alerts at low and high of day. I was gonna wait for cups to close. On the 30-minute, we had nowhere to be. There's a gap up, pretty big gap up this morning, based on I think peace talks with Iran, and so we had some way to go to get to the at least this green buying if it wanted to make its way all the way here, which it did. And given that it's a short week, yeah, so yeah, inside candle, or well, yeah, inside candle from yesterday by far. So I want to wait for a cup to close, which we did end up getting one at 115. So then I'm looking for a handle. We've got moving averages here. And my first trade was at 144. So not great structure, which is always the first thing you hear when you're talking about a losing trade. Actually, this one wasn't really based on structure. This was just based on this gray support I had right here. So I jumped in right there on that gray support, looking for a move up, and gray being my stop. Got two of them. IV was quite low, so I scaled up a little bit. Closed out on, yeah, so I gave it a little room. It broke gray. I was like, I'm gonna give it some room, give it some moving averages. We're close enough. Might want to retest this a bit. So I didn't get out until this candle. So I went a little green for a bit, but yeah, lack of structure. That's what I get. Or no, this is when I got a second one, I think. No, I got them both right here. Yeah, I closed out on that candle. It was a red trade by 1 cent. Next one was at 154. So, where are we? Right. Okay, I flipped into, wait, what happened here? Those are calls. Oh, I bought more. That's right. That makes more sense because I thought I bought on that candle. This candle juked me out. So I added in 2 more on this candle right here as it was just waking up here. Sold them all for $1.50 or 155 on this candle. So 24 and 23 were my buys. I sold them for 16. So even in a tight range, you can still make big losses. Just depends on your scale. I was like, oh man, that kind of sucks. So that was a bad first trade. Lack structure. I was happy we had a cup close, but it just wasn't patient enough for a structure, I guess. 243, so I waited almost an hour. 240, so came all the way down. At that point, then I had charted this gold based on these supports right here. And pretty much everything you see was charted. Came up, broke the purple here, which it had been grinding down. Again, the structure's not great, but it's better than this was. And we had a bounce on VWAP. However, let's see. I think I whipsawed in here. Yeah, I actually got a put here. And like I opened it, or no, yeah, I put a limit on it, and then I tried to cancel it, but it quick filled me. So I'm like, this is a VWAP. This is a bad spot to be trying to get it to flush through VWAP. But I was basically trying to catch this move, more of this move down that I missed the whole way, and decided to jump in when it was actually breaking it, of course. And yeah, VWAP was the clue for that. I don't know if I had gold then here. Yeah, I did. I just wasn't sure if it was going to come all the way down to retest that. So let's see. This was a 48 cents. I was in a put at 243 on this candle. And then I sold it 244 once it stayed above purple. 48 to 43, not too bad. And then I flipped into a call, I believe. Yep, call at 245 right here. Bought another one at 245, 39 cents and 41 cents. Bought two there. Inverse head and shoulder for this cup. Bounce on VWAP. I think we were below the moving average at this point, which was a little sketch. Sold the first one for 51 cents, so finally a green trade. Sold it right on this candle right here. This was retesting the moving averages at that point. It was like right here. So sold one here. I was going to hold the other one for, you know, the move back up to high day, or maybe this. Did I have that drawn? I had something similar to this. I actually, yeah, I don't know if I had anything drawn up there yet, so I wasn't sure exactly where to take profits on the second one. I figured we'd have a shoulder support down here if I wanted to come down and test it, but really, realistically, I wanted to stay above gray, and I could have done a break-even stop on this one. I don't know why I was being, yeah. With only two, I really shouldn't have left a runner. I should have just closed it. It's hindsight, but given the context today, stuck around the moving averages, it's the last day of the week. You can just take profits. You don't have to try and hold for continuation on a day like today. I guess I wasn't thinking it's continuation, just a move up to the resistance. But this structure wasn't great. And still below moving averages. Anyways, the second one would have been fine if I got break even on it, but I wasn't able to sell it until it was red, unfortunately, on that candle, which got me red. On that trade, let's see. I don't know if I was red. I was probably about break even. 41 cents was the first, or 51 was the first sell, and then 35 was the second. So maybe a little bit green, but yeah, I could have sold them both there for 51 quite easily. Next one was at 315. So yeah, this rejection on 5-day, I did consider it once it broke this gray for puts for a little head and shoulder here. Is still, yeah, I didn't want to just overtrade too much, and figured I'd wait for it to at least get here. I was kind of wanting the upside move just because we had completed the cup. And this hadn't broken anything on my charting. I maybe had gold at this point. I think I did. So I left this alone. This came down, and I was ready. I was ready to get puts if it broke and calls if it didn't. And it started to bounce, and I got a call right here, 315 on that red candle, I think. Let's see, yeah. Sorry, 313 it was on that candle. Yeah, this one. Yep. Yep, got one on this candle. Not a red candle. It was on a pullback, so this is a limit. Bought one for 44 cents. I had... Okay, yeah, bought one for 44 cents. We're below the moving averages at that point, and I wasn't super comfortable with the gold, but it was close to that gold as a stop, and I thought we could still be building this handle, so held one through this, used gold for my stop, had a nice green candle out of there, and really for all the reasons mentioned, I decided to not hold this for the moon and closed it. 44 cents up to, I closed it on this green candle, so got a pretty nice exit. It's close to VWAP. Sold it for 61, so that brought it back up a little bit out of the red some. Built some liquidity, made a little nested head and shoulder right here, inverse head, shoulder, grabbed it, and it was breaking purple again. I was trying to chart something else. I Didn't really chart this until later, but I was just curious on the upside at that point. Of course, you know, 5-day or whatever could work, but you don't know. But this inverse head and shoulder right here, it did look pretty nice. And so I put in a limit order here. These were a little further out of the money at that point. They were pretty low delta, 740, let's see, 747. Not too far out of the money, but since the market hadn't moved much, the delta was low. Yeah, I was right here. Put in limit order for one. It kind of kept rallying, didn't fill me, so I put another one in, and they just went without me. Sometimes I put limit orders in, and because I'm not always waiting for a red candle, and so I'll do that just because that'll at least help me a little bit with my fill, and I'll get sometimes a nice little fill. And I feel like sometimes it's like, I want this trade, but I don't have super high conviction on it, so I kind of just let it fill me if it's going to, which is maybe not a good way to do it. Maybe that's just more feeding into gambling, but it's kind of how I do it sometimes. You know, if I really wanted, I could have market ordered. And my limits are usually, well, on E-Trade, they're at the bid, so yeah, it's like if this candle's right here, I'm gonna put a limit at the bid, and if there's any sort of just hesitation, it'll fill me. Or if the next candle just flips red a little bit, it'll fill me. So I can get red candle fills that way. In this sense, I didn't have a whole lot of, I wasn't all that keen on it just because we were below the moving averages still. Of course, it did set up a very nice move. This structure was nice looking too. I mean, it was pretty much textbook, so I should have probably gotten a little more aggressive on one of them, at least. But yeah, so it rallied up, hit the moving averages, and I canceled them. You can see it on my history. You'll see me cancel them on this candle right here. Once I said retested the moving average, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to try and, because if it comes down and retests it, it's already hit its first target to me, so it might be making a head for a shoulder here. So yeah, next trade I got into was at 348. So yeah, you can imagine I was a little bit salty for missing that. Broke this, which I wasn't sure about. Again, I was trying to chart it, but this is also the moving averages. Came back down. I thought it was maybe a little retest, and I thought potentially this is correct charting. So I got a call right here. Wow, actually now looking at it, that was kind of ugly moves it did to me. Got a call right here at 348, closed at 349 once it broke through the moving average. Ended up just wicking. I wasn't really actually thinking we're coming up to the 10-minute move either. So that could have helped me to probably not even get into that and wait for the 10-minute candle. Yeah, so that was a 2-cent loss. This was a 748 call, so a little further out of the money. Pretty easy to trade that one because it was out of the money. And then we did have this 10-minute candle confirming the bounce on potentially this, but the moving averages, a little inverse head and shoulder. In the final 10, if there's any kind of structure, it's like you can kind of take it for at least something. I got a call back on, I think this one, 350. It rallied up. I was looking for Hive Day, and it just kind of stalled out a little bit, and I didn't like it anymore. So 23 cents to 20, small loss on that one too. I closed it out on this candle, 53. Yeah, I mean, it did make it. It just wasn't aggressive enough for my liking in the final 10. So I ended up actually doing quite a few trades for being not a very good day for trading, which is not a good thing, but P&L wise, it's not too bad. There are the trades. Those two canceled ones. Unfortunate. Yeah, look, so 22 cents, 19 cents. They actually market right now on them are 93 cents. So I don't know, 10x something, maybe. Not quite. 8x. But yeah, if I did catch them there, I probably wouldn't have held them till here. So not too bad. Final day of the week. Giving back a little bit of yesterday's profit. Down 17 on SPY. And yeah. Feels good being able to not be glued to the computer and come back and be able to chart and have confidence to get into trades. Given today was not a good day for trading, so yeah, just having the patience to wait for the nice setups would have served me better. Well, I'm looking in hindsight now, like, yeah, I don't really like. I mean, I could have jumped in on purple at some point in here, like once we completed this cup, like right in here on the retest. Could have jumped in on a purple for trying to catch some of this grind down. By the time I did, it was just too late. Other than that, really just waiting for the structure is all that there was. This was a perfect spot for calls. Anywhere. Where I got him was good. Again, I just got one, so that was all I held it for. Where I tried to get him again was another good spot. Up here, kind of good. Yeah, so I actually like kind of my entries or potential entries. And mixed in with some of the poor ones. Thanks for watching, guys. So up, like, up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. Tomorrow's closed, so we'll see you on Monday. Happy Money Monday after a long weekend. All right, peace out.